Beginning again with the historic perspective analysis of what was happening prior to the arrival of Mughal King Babur and what was left with the Sultanates after Timur's invasion. That is, so the time period we are discussing here is again, late 1400s to early 1500s. That is, 15th and 16th century. So Rajasthan had some Hindu kingdom, and Vijayanagara was the Hindu kingdom which were in existence in whole of Indian subcontinent. You would find different Muslim generals, specifically different origins made. It could Muslim generals of Turkic origin plus Afghan origin, Arab origin also were there. Then Persian origin. So Mahmud Ghawa was one general who was dominating the Bahmani kingdom and had massive success against the Vijayanagara armies. Then you had so Bahmani again were so Bahmanis were the ones who were dominating the Vijayanagara Empire. Then you had the Malwa Sultanate, which was in turn trying to trying to take over the Bahmani Sultanates. I don't know from where Bahmanis had that access of military prowess, although they were landlocked, but still they was always at always at loggerhead with the Bahmanis, dominating them. Along with the with the help of Odisha rulers, and you would find the Malwa Sultanate also attacking Gujarat Sultanate, and Gujarat Sultanate was the one which was keeping a check over the Malwa Sultanate so that it could not just consume the Bahmanis and take over the Bahmanis. So Gujarat Sultanate had shown allegiance to the Ottomans, and Ottomans had an amazing navy. So you would find a lot of Portuguese and Ottoman wars happening near the coast of Gujarat. And then you had the landlocked kingdoms of Rajasthan, specifically Mewar. This is the time where you would find the Malwa and Gujarat trying to crush these Rajput kingdoms of Rajasthan, but and this time you would find the prime figures such as Mahana Kumbha and Mahana Sangha. These are the figures which had gained limelight all across the Muslim world, from far reaches of Ottomans to to the Turkic hordes of Kazakhstan and Uzbekistan, because despite of having access to good military prowess such as good cavalry or the Turkic or Mongol bow and arrow, they had time and again have been having success. On the contrary, the Vijayanagara Empire had not been able to get that success which these Rajput kingdoms were having against the mighty sultanates of Gujarat and Malwa, and of course Delhi Sultanate also was there. So these sultanates had become furious, and time and again there were clashes happening between these Rajput kingdoms. So it was sheer strength versus the cavalry and bow and the might of the bow and arrow of the Turkish and Mongol origin. And of course after the arrival of Portuguese and Ottoman, the cannonry also had come into existence, and gunpowder also had started gaining had started coming into importance in warfare. So here is the time you would find these two prominent figures among the Rajput kingdom. Primarily one Mahana Kumbha, and secondly one Mahana Sangha. So despite of being landlocked, sheer brilliance of their warfare technique, you would find the Gujarat and Malwa Sultanates and Delhi Sultanate on the back foot. So the Malwa ruler who was the contemporary of Mahana Kumbha had gained praises from different Islamic rulers across the globe, from ranging from Ottomans to Egyptian kings to Persians. That is, to be specific, that was Mahmud Khilji. So he was a very aggressive ruler, and very time and again he was at wars with a different kingdom. So that this was a time when after the Timurid invasion, and you would not find the Muslim empires in those times praising the Timurids very much, because Timur was the one who have been the only one to have enslaved the Ottoman Emperor, and under his captivity only it was considered that the, the Ottoman emperor had died. So that was one era, that was one uh, uh, time space where you would find the Ottomans having had to make a break towards their onslaught in the Europe. So they were gaining, and because that was the time when crusades also were happening, and Ottomans were on their tours against the crusades, and they were having success also in crushing the European powers. And that was the time that Timur invades the Ottoman Empire, captures its Sultan, and the Sultan dies there. So you would not find much praise by the Muslim scholars for Timur as a ruler. So so and prior to Babur, you would find uh, Rana Sanga time and again crushing Delhi, Sultanate of Delhi, Gujarat, and Malwa. So, so you could imagine the military prowess and the stature which these two rulers had gained during that time, specifically Mana Kumbha and Sanga, because because there was no other Hindu power which could have been which was there in limelight. Vijayanagara was time and again getting dominated by the Bahmanis. Bahmanis were in turn getting dominated by the Malwa Sultanate. Malwa Sultanate were in turn getting dominated by Gujarat Sultanate, and Gujarat Sultanate was in turn getting dominated by the Rajput kingdoms of Mewar and surrounding regions. So these rulers had gained immense spotlight in that era, and uh, to say so, they also had their name registers in terms of the buildings they had constructed. So the one reason which could be there for time and again for the leftist historians in India specifically to whitewash that part of the history could be that, because you cannot take out these two rulers out of Indian history, uh, because there were no other rulers to challenge them. Neither was there any other Hindu kingdom which had remained in prominence, and and the Muslim kingdom which considered them which had trade relations everywhere, from Ottomans to Persian to Egyptian, were finding difficult to finding it difficult to keep a check over these Hindu Rajput kingdoms. So and then you have Babur coming, with whom, as I said, many of the Muslim scholars you would not find appreciate you would not find them appreciating, because he being a successor of Temur, and Temur himself was, although very ambitious conqueror, was not in a very good books with the Muslim scholars, just because he invaded the Ottoman Empire. So something very interesting is this era of Indian history has to be considered very uh, very very peculiar, in the sense that there was no one central power, and uh, the sheer might was what was required to gain access to anything and everything. Hope I was able to analyze this perspective in a simple and able manner, although I am no uh, uh, qualified person to speak upon much of history. Just out of sheer interest, I wanted to share this particular information. Thank you.